Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Marketing Water Cooler Podcast. My name is Jeremy Francesi. Why don't we dive right in? Steph, what are we getting into today?
Let's talk about word of mouth. Does word of mouth still have a world in this new age of data?
Absolutely. So this is a topic I've been talking to with a lot of our clients and thinking a lot about, because if you're in this ecosystem listening to this podcast, or maybe you're watching the video clips, you may have heard of the concept of attribution models, and there's a lot of software that's being sold to help you figure out where things are coming from as it relates to pipeline activity, lead generation, trying to figure out of all the efforts you're putting forth to drive results, where's it coming from? Is it online? Is it search? Is it social? Is it, from a webinar, from a trade? Like where can you attribute your success to? But the truth is, especially in a service-based business, it's very hard to attribute any type of behavioral change or result to word of mouth, because it may come in as a lead form to your website. It may come in as something through social. But what we're finding and what a lot of the information is showing, we're going to talk a lot about word of mouth as a strategy, not as a hope and as a Hail Mary, right? It's not we're not Doug Flutie here just trying to pull in a touchdown last minute, right? But there has to be some respect paid to the value of word of mouth. And it's hard to track in attribution modeling. Now, in this episode, we're not going to get into the softwares and technologies and like how to hack at that, but we're talking a lot to clients about like, some things are not as easy to put on a spreadsheet. That doesn't mean it's not working, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'll give you a really, really specific example and open it up to you, Steph. But in the world of data, word of mouth is still paramount, because at the end of the day, consumers trade off of trust. And so when you're spending $1 million, $500,000, six figures on something, or even $30,000, $50,000, right? If you are in a business ecosystem as a manager, a functional owner, you're going to go talk to people in your space, right? Very, very infrequently do functional managers or decision makers go online, do research, talk to vendors without spending any time talking to their network. It's just impractical, right? When we're making decisions, I reach out to my buddy and say, hey, we're rolling out new cloud infrastructure to make things more collaborative. What do you use at your company, right? Mm-hmm. Little moments like that, which never end up on the spreadsheet, but build certainty. Sometimes they build confidence in a brand. Maybe it just serves as a backboard of like pushing back to you the things you already thought you knew, but it's important. And so some of the things we're going to talk about from word of mouth is it's how do you foster productive word of mouth where people are thinking, talking, and responding to the things you're doing, so that when they are doing their research, they are reaching out to their community of chief information security officers or chief executives or CMOs. Somehow your brand, your system, your product just keeps coming up, right? And so that's what I wanted to kind of hit on, is that still matters. Mm-hmm. Being the thing that people think of when they ask for a recommendation matters, because most times we're not evaluating in a vacuum. So I'll kind of pause there and see if you want to unpack anything from there, Steph.
Yeah, I think, for the most part, this makes sense. I know when I'm personally, if I'm looking for a new like audio editing software or something like that, like I'm going to all of my audio friends being like, great, what do you use? What do you like about it? And why do I hate this part of it, and just really seeing like what's workable and trusting my friends to tell me that.
Right. And so how this plays out at scale is, instead of going to, I sent Brandon a message, one of our guys. I sent him a message. It was, I don't know, Thursday or Friday last week. And it literally, like, I do this pretty frequently, not necessarily with you, Steph, but like, mm-hmm. Literally it's what I call it, a thinking out loud text.
Oh, sure.
Thinking out loud, ... And then I just rip through what I'm thinking about. And what I was talking about is we've changed how we treat search. So let me frame this real quick. For the most part, people still go on Google and they look up, X, Y, and Z solution provider product in my area, or best software to do X, right? You're looking up, but now more than ever, and this is not new. So if you're hearing this, please understand this is years in the development. This is what I'm about to say is not new, innovative, changing the game. It is happened and happening. Mm-hmm. Now people are doing that in communities. Now they're going to a Facebook group of editors and saying, hey guys, I got to change my setup. What are you using? My motherboard just died and I'm freaking out. What did you do to set up your computer? Because I didn't buy a Mac. I built my own computer. So all you other, tech-friendly people, right? Same thing with productivity software, same thing with change management, cyber. So when we talk about word of mouth, how do you attribute something from a Facebook group where you drop a comment into a bunch of other cybersecurity pros and say, hey, we're looking to increase our FedRAMP certification for X, Y, and Z. What have you guys done? And it's a community of other govies that work in the government for agencies, understanding the protocols and policies. And they say, hey, you should check out ABC Consulting. Well, yeah, you're going to get a lead in your attribution model and data that says they went from Google to your website and then they clicked for a demo. But that's not actually what happened.
Right.
What happened was they went online to a social network, dropped a question into a trusted community of like-minded professionals and people with shared professional interests or personal interests. And then they use that research to supplement their other research to then go engage in brands and companies that they now trust a little bit more than the others. That is how word of mouth plays. It's at the trade shows. Yes, it's in the other avenues. But when we talk about branding and marketing, which are separate, that's another episode we need to go over the difference. They're fundamentally different functions with different intent. But word of mouth in the age of data is understanding where people congregate and how conversations are started and continued in those congregations, because there are hundreds of millions of dollars, if not more, in business conducted through Facebook groups, through LinkedIn groups, through Clubhouse, right? And it's not selling courses. It's genuine people going to communities saying, I need to solve a problem and I trust this group because I'm in it and I've been a part of it and I don't know what to do. I need insurance. What did you do? Right? My computer broke. I just got hacked and I'm freaking out. Like, what did you do? Right? People are going to communities to ask for advice, direction, perspective, and feedback on what is and is not positive about that experience. If you're not accounting for that, you are vulnerable because it doesn't cost money to post in those groups.
Right.
It takes time to build community and be a valuable resource. So look, what am I getting at? Am I saying that, you should hire somebody like an agency that has a community management member and their job is to get involved on your behalf and provide value in those communities? Yes and no. My point is understand community and you will understand how to close the gap between you and your ideal customer. Because what happens when you're bringing value and people understand your perceived value, whether they've bought from you or not, is when somebody drops a question in a general business owner entrepreneurship community and says, I'm trying to solve this, or I'm going from this to this cloud infrastructure and I have no idea what to do. What would you recommend? You want people commenting your business, your vendor, or your name, because they're just like, yeah, you got to connect with Jared. He's the best. Right. That is word of mouth. It's not about going to the BNI group anymore. It's about building value online. And so just wanted to take a minute, wanted to take an episode and reiterate that, because the one that's furthest from the customer will always be vulnerable. Community matters, respect matters, how people feel. You want people to want to promote your brand and your business. And I don't care if it's not a sexy product. This isn't about sex appeal of a perceived solution. This is people thinking they solved my problem. I like what they stand for. I like their values and I like what they do. Somebody's asking a question. I'm going to provide an answer, right? That is word of mouth at scale when people are doing that, because we ain't going back to the way it was. Trade shows are going to happen, but it's going to be different, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to iterate. Any follow-up questions on that stuff before we close things out?
I think, I don't know that I have any sort of follow-up things. I think mostly it's more along the lines of right now, the sort of word of mouth thing is you're casting a wider net on a tighter knit group of people, which sounds very backwards. But I think that's just what the internet has really done for us is we have access to more people who also have access to more people who have created closer communities and closer relationships. And so, more people are looking for that personal recommendation, I think. I know again, like I said, anytime I need something, I'm asking people I know, like, great, who's my friend who works on Broadway? What do you use? How do I get to use that? That kind of thing.
And people use these communities, to your point, to supplement where they don't have a native network.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, if I don't know 100 other business owners, or I don't know a ton of other marketers, I'm probably joining a Slack channel. I'm probably joining a Facebook group. I'm probably joining a LinkedIn community, right? You're seeking out community to find comfort in the unknown, whether it's emotional volatility of your job or your business, your journey is challenging and you want to support from a community of people doing it as well, or it's tactical strategic value of I'm like you and you're like me, and I'm solving a problem that you may have experienced. What should I do here? Mm-hmm. And it's understanding that you are going to have 2, 3, 4 people in your Rolodex, your contact list, right? That can maybe help you. Yeah, I just said Rolodex.
What year is this?
I know, right? Shout out. That's so funny. I don't even know how that works. I've literally never owned a Rolodex. That's hilarious. But anyways, I really think people are undervaluing community. They're really undervaluing the nature of genuine support. You're trying to pay your way to, I'm not saying don't run ads. I'm not saying don't be aggressive. I'm not saying don't try to quant your way into success, but I am saying that at the end of the day, the person that is getting commented as a real answer to a real question to solve a real problem, they're always going to have the advantage because you have a sales force that's not incentivized.
Right.
You're not paying for that comment. They genuinely are like, that company's amazing. You should go check them out. And I think that's where amazing things can happen. Now, how you do that, that's another episode. So you got to subscribe and stick around. But there has to be bigger conversations around how we build effective word of mouth, not just how do we quant our way and hack our way into a conversion funnel, because yes, that works. Yes, you can make money, but at some point in time, you either build an affinity between your brand and your people and that tribe and that community, or you just become somebody selling something to somebody else.
Right.
And I think there's an opportunity for longevity, because what we know more than life itself is that things change. Instagram will not be here forever. Facebook will not be here forever, right? It's only been here for 15 to 20 years. Right? Not TikTok even. Is brand new when you really think of the age of technology, and you can run Facebook ads, but then they take away tracking. And now what? Right? Cookies are now changed. Now what? Well, having people actually want to recommend you because you are of value. That's what. So
absolutely.
All right, Steph, we made it through another one.
Yes, we did.
Everybody, thanks for sticking around. More to come as always, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the Marketing Water Cooler podcast. Stay tuned for more. Hey, thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If you liked the video, smash the like button and hit subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the new episodes. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We will fold them into future episodes and make sure that you get the help and the answers you're really looking for all things marketing and communications.